Hello, everyone. I'm Wolfman Sam here with my buddy John Buck Guns, and we are Creatures of the Night.
Creatures of the Night. To start
Today
this
we're gonna
podcast, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Here we go again, tripping yourselves up. I'll start first.
Okay.
Today we'll be starting our podcast by celebrating the anniversary of both Ghostbusters and Gremlins. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the first and second movie. So for those of you who haven't seen the first or second movie of either franchise, go watch it now because we're going to be spoiling both Gremlins 1, 2, and Ghostbusters 1 and 2. All right. John, you want to take it from here?
I guess why not? We're talking about Gremlins. You say you want to talk about Gremlins first, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, here's Gremlins. I think it's an excellent, fabulous film. It's got great special effects, good story, and also great characters that you're like really drawn to. And also, like, the film has like elements of like, well, and you could say it's a Christmas horror too, in a way.
Yeah, it does take place on Christmas.
Yes.
Everyone talks about Die Hard and everything like that, but Gremlins is a Christmas movie. It does take place on Christmas.
It does.
It is a Christmas kind of, sort of, not really horror film because there are horror elements to it.
Yes.
With the creatures and the transformations and all that. Which, by the way, practical effects, man.
Oh yeah, no, they. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't get enough of it, of the effects in that film.
Yeah, and Furbies.
Yes.
Furbies, you're welcome. You're welcome. Mogwais, I believe, were the birth of the Furbies.
Yes.
Had to be.
Yes. I showed my dad Gremlins this past week. He never saw it until recently. He loved it. And my dad was saying that Mogwais look like Furbies, and it's like, he's right actually. Yeah, there was. That's where, if it wasn't for this movie, thanks to Furbies.
Absolutely, and I guarantee there probably were there had to be Gremlins.
Possibly, yeah. It's funny, like with this talk on a little bit of Furbies, for some reason, I don't know why, my grandmother had a thing for Furbies. I couldn't tell you why that is.
Who knows,
I don't know. But I highly doubt nothing to do with Gremlins. My grandma was not much of a horror person, so, but...
Right. And Gremlins, for me, was, I think, probably one of the first movies, because like anybody, we saw it as kids.
Actually...
It might have been one of the first... And it's funny that you call it a horror because there are elements of comedy in it.
Yeah, dark humor.
It's the closest thing to a horror flick that most people see as kids, and ourselves included. It was one of the first exposures to horror film.
Right. Well, as a kid, before I saw the film, I was familiar with it, but as a little kid, I was too chicken to watch it because I thought the Gremlins looked kind of scary. I didn't see the movie until I was 19. I was 19 when I first saw Gremlins. And the funny part is, again, it's another film. If you never saw it, you're familiar with the references. Don't feed them after midnight. Don't expose them to sunlight.
Oh, yeah. This was...
Don't give them water because of the parodies and references. And Family Guy or...
Gremlins was a huge pop culture icon. It's right up there with Goonies in terms of 80s. Being just a staple of the 80s.
Right.
Gremlins is right up there.
Right.
And there's some sort of parallels, too, with Goonies and Gremlins, too, but
somewhat, too. But that's sort of a different kind of topic, though.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing that we don't have time to go into.
We'll do Gremlins next year because that's the 40th anniversary of
Goonies. Goonies.
Yeah, next year Goonies turns 40. We'll do Goonies next year, but for now it's only Gremlins and Ghostbusters today.
Right. Yeah, and Gremlins was definitely a staple, but Gremlins 2, going on to Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2,
right.
The tone.
Right.
It's just, like you said, the word of the day is batshit. It just goes off the wall with its premise, the second one, in that, and it's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. This is not an indictment. We are not bashing the film. It's just, it's the second movie is a lot more lighthearted,
Yes.
and it's a lot more crazy. It
It
definitely is a lot more over the top in a lot of the good way, you know.
Yes.
And you know, they have these scientists that experiment on
Yeah.
the gremlins, and then, well, when they turn into gremlins in the second one, they get a hold of all these you know, experiments. Which, by the way, I have to add, the casting for Christopher Lee as the mad scientist is brilliant. It's brilliant
Yes.
because regardless of the movie, Christopher Lee always delivers. You know, either a super serious, just super serious delivery, and he just has a
Right.
certain pathos. Well, regardless of.
Right.
But yeah, the casting, you know, they brought back some of the original cast. You want to just roll off some of the original cast members because the names escape me.
Let's see. They brought back like, well, obviously, you know, like the main character Billy and Kate from Phoebe Cates
Right.
and Zach Galligan, Dick Miller, and
Right.
Roy. They don't bring back his parents. It's like, wait a minute, where was Billy's parents? How come they didn't come visit New York City for?
Can we talk also about, you know, I've mentioned the scientist, and he also has like these like clone stooges that are pretty funny as well. I enjoy
They're not. They actually are real twins. If you ever
Oh,
saw
they are real
Terminator
twins.
2,
Oh, okay. I thought
yeah.
that was. I'm stupid. I thought that was like a clone effect in movies. I didn't realize they
No,
were
no, they're not
actually
clones.
twins. That's
Yes, they actually were.
awesome. Did not realize that.
Right. Like I said, if you saw Terminator 2, the security guard scene when he, you know, stabs him in the eye, that's the same actors from Terminator 2.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that either. I didn't know that until like later as an adult, like when I first maybe saw this movie a couple of years later. Like, oh my god, how did I not know that was the same characters from Terminator 2 as the security guard when he gets stabbed in the eye? That really was his twin brother. It wasn't like a CGI effect or doing the camera trick.
All the more reason to like Terminator 2 now.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the twins were definitely a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I want to talk about the redhead, the new manager.
Oh yeah, she was so New York, like the way she talked.
She was gorgeous. Can we talk about how gorgeous this woman was?
Yes.
I forget her name. Her name escapes me, but
wait. I got it written down here some way. Give me 1 second. I got notes.
A little memento, folks.
Yeah. Let's see.
Getting the list of actor.
Her name was Marla, but I don't remember what the actress's name. I only just wrote down Marla.
But Marla, in terms of the actress, she was so funny and so enjoyable and gorgeous. Yes. Like, and the thing I liked also is that she could have devolved into the relationship misunderstanding. Could have been a total villain by the end.
Yeah,
but she didn't.
Right.
They didn't do that with her, which I liked.
No,
they, you know, and there's a really, really good scene with them, with, you know, when she's in the spider web of the spider gremlin, and you know, Phoebe Cates' character finds her, and she explains that, hey, nothing happened between us, you know, we're still friends, you know, and you know, like I said, you know. Some really good writing on the second one as well, and I love I love the ending also. Like I said,
right?
You know, for the viewers at home, we're under the assumption that you've already watched these movies, and I think if you're watching by now, we're literally spoiling the entire movies.
Right.
For both.
So don't watch this video until you've seen both Gremlin.
No. This is for the Ghostbusters and Gremlin celebratory, you know.
Yes.
But I love the ending of the second one with the Lady Gremlin in the wedding dress.
Right.
I think that was really cute, and you know, there were some cute cameos too.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan,
there
random
were
Hulk
like,
Hogan cameo with the
yeah, that
fourth
was
wall
so
break.
funny. Yeah, for breaking the fourth
You better turn
wall, how
this
the
movie
projection
back
was wrong.
on.
Right.
Right,
And
right,
also I like the Looney Tune references too, and I also like
right,
all the
right.
pop
The
culture
Looney Tunes
references,
reference,
like
the
how they do.
Batman reference. I
Yes,
mean, like
yes,
Warner Brothers went nuts. They
they
let you
did.
know that they own this movie. This is their movie,
Right,
and
right.
yeah,
Or I like
and
how when
yeah,
Gizmo goes, I like how like Gizmo goes like all Rambo after being abused,
right, right.
bullied by his
There's
own kind.
Rambo references. Yeah.
I'm like laughing
Yeah.
hysterically. Like this is so funny. It's like he's doing a training
Oh yeah.
montage.
It's like I said, it's the difference between the two is one is like a serious horror comedy, and the other one is just
Yes,
fun.
right.
Gremlins
It
Two
is.
is a lot of fun. I think if you were to start, maybe a young kid off with Gremlins, I'd say start the second one. I
I
know it
agree.
sounds weird, but start the second one. If for like a really, really young kid, start the second one and then
Well,
maybe go to the first one. Maybe,
I was telling my
you know.
I was telling my dad after watching Gremlins that I don't want my niece and nephew watching it because of the scene in this first movie when Phoebe Cates her monologue about how she found out there was no Santa Claus. I was like, yep, no, I don't want my niece and nephew
Right,
to watch
right. The
this. I don't
Santa,
want.
yeah, the Santa Claus monologue in the first one.
Yeah, it's
A
really dark
lot of the
feeling.
quote unquote death in the first one, and the second one can get violent, but
Oh yeah,
it's not the same. The difference
right.
is like almost like we do see a gremlin get like mashed in a
Yeah.
paper shredder
Yes.
in the
Yes.
second one, but it's done in a way where it's almost cartoony.
Right.
Where in the first one, it's almost bloody and
Yeah.
it's still kind of cartoony, but it's darker. It's
Well,
much darker.
in the first one, I thought it was cool, like the way like Billy's mother, she was a badass. She's like a female Rambo, like killing these
Absolutely.
guys.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the
The
mother of the first
microwave.
one like killed about half, like a quarter of the
Something
first
like that,
batch.
yeah. But she really, she was not a damsel in distress. Billy's mom. She was
No,
kick
no,
ass.
she was a mom. She was a mom that definitely took care of herself. I
Yeah,
love the dad. The dad, as the inventor in the first one is awesome.
me too.
Just
Yeah,
his warmth, just him being this
yeah,
warm kind of presence, and that's what I thought the second one was gonna be. I was like, oh, okay, big corpo guy is like the
yeah.
opposite of
But
the
in a
dad,
way,
but
the second,
even him towards the end becomes this lighthearted, like almost childlike, you know, kind of whimsical sort of character at the end, and he becomes extremely likable at the end of the second
right? Well,
movie.
especially how he bought Billy a Magua, but little did they know what to expect. It's me and my dad got a kick out of the joke. I bet you
Right in the first
every
one, yeah.
kid in America would want this to replace the dog. The first one.
Right, yeah, yeah, and
This
our
that
apologies
scene.
if I jump around. I'm jumping between the first and second
Yeah,
movie.
sorry about that.
I'll
Yeah,
try
that's okay. This
to.
is basically like bouncing around between both films back to back, and also like the moment when he opens up the Christmas, well, early Christmas present of the Magua. It's like a nice because Spielberg produced these movies. It was like a nice melodramatic moment in a way.
Right, right in the first one, yeah.
Yeah,
If you look closely and pay attention, Steven Spielberg has a cameo in this movie.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of really as dark as the first one is, and there's a lot of heartwarming moments.
yeah,
I always, all the characters are memorable. I love
yeah.
the guy. I forget his name in the film, and I forget
Bill,
the actor.
Billy, played by Zach
No,
Gallagher.
not the main character. Not the main character. I was going into the guy that always had car trouble and always would talk about
Oh, Dick Miller's. Wait, I have his character's
Nick
name written.
Miller's
I think it was
character. Yeah, I love that
one
they brought
second.
him back. But I've
Right.
always loved that character because I swear,
his name was Futterman.
Butter.
Last name was Futterman.
Futterman. Because I swear, I met somebody like that in real life. Like
Right.
that always seems to have some sort of trouble, always blaming somebody else. You know.
Yeah.
As like things were better back when I was a kid, and like that kind of thing.
It's so funny with you saying that because like anytime like with my parents or my grandparents, like the different generations, comparing how like compared to their time, like in the 50s, my grandfather still has like the same appliances that were like built to last compared to today's like, modern world of technology where nothing lasts forever. And now you were lucky to get a 10-year warranty compared to back in the 50s.
And I think I mean this is gonna sound really weird to have a really weird theory to hypothesize, but I think that's definitely a theme in Gremlins, kind of poking fun at like the latest and greatest inventions, and destroyed by Gremlins.
The old and the new younger generation of what their like times are different, especially like in today's modern world.
Right. And it's funny because like I love 80s perceptions of future because it's so high tech and so just otherworldly. You get some of that in the Gremlins 2 movie with and it's like I could see that being a thing down the line of like automated buildings and automated firings and all this all that stuff.
Also, but when I was watching the second Gremlins movie, John Glover's character, the boss, when I first saw it, I didn't give this a thought. They basically were spoofing Donald Trump when you think about it. Like, the part said the
I got RoboCop vibes, honestly.
Okay, I can see that, yeah.
I got RoboCop vibes, but that's
fair,
kind of corporate satire.
There is some corporate satire in the film that they spoof and make fun of, like how like the janitor gets fired for like a small tiny error just like that rather than learning from his mistake. It's like you're fired. It's like wait a minute, he just made a minor mistake. It's not his fault.
Right. And it's funny, like I love what they did with the quote unquote villain in the second one. Because he's not really a villain.
No, not like
he's just
more laid back.
Yeah, he's very laid back for an 80s villain.
Yeah. He's not like
he becomes by the end he becomes this good guy. He wants to be good and he does good. And
he's not like Mrs. He's not like Mrs.
He's not like pure evil business guy.
She was a bitch, Mrs. T. Oh my god, her death scene. It's like yes, like I love her. I mean, I love her.
Oh, the lady
from the first movie.
The lady from the first one. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Her death. I think people applauded. I would imagine applauded.
That was the whole point, though. She was a bitch. And it's like, not a loss right here. She was a bitch anyway. It's like
straight up, Wicked Witch of the West kind of character.
Yes. Absolutely.
But, yeah. I mean, the first one is great.
With Gremlins, like it was you said, Christmas horror. It has like it's a Wonderful Life element. She's like Old Man Potter combined with the Wicked Witch of the West.
Absolutely, and I think that was intentional. That they doesn't she say something to the effect of "and your little dog too"?
Yes, something like that. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Something about like
she wanted to call him dead.
Right. Like something about like I'll get you Billy and your little dog too or something like that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to touch on Gremlins, or do you want to move on to Ghostbusters?
Well, let me just check and wait. Give me 1 second. I got a list and
we have a list, folks. We're getting organized.
Yes.
We weren't always organized.
I guess. What about Gizmo? I mean, come on, isn't Gizmo?
Yeah. Gizmo as a character is pretty cute, and not to sound like a bunch of girls. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god, you're so cute. No, but right. I would imagine it's because of Gizmo why we have Furbies, and
Yeah.
you know, that's why Furbies exist. Absolutely, but yeah, I mean,
Besides, like,
Gizmo is always a cute character, and who doesn't
right.
love Gizmo?
Yeah. And
I do
besides,
find
like,
it funny also in the second movie. I know it has to happen for the plot to work, but I what kind of annoyed me was Phoebe Cates' character did not recognize
yeah,
the
I
other
agree.
gremlin that was so different
Goofy.
from
Gizmo.
in the second movie. Well, that
Yeah.
was so different looking from Gizmo, and she didn't recognize that was not Gizmo.
No, I
Now, I could
agree.
understand if the Mogwai looked like Gizmo or a little bit like enough like Gizmo, but that's just me being
I mean,
that's just me poking.
I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do know the difference between like Gizmo and the other Gremlin Gizmos. Because
But
Gremlin,
that's just us poking, poking
right? I know I get that's
being
the whole joke
nitpicky.
behind it.
It doesn't really take anything away from the film, but it's just kind of like 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 if for those that have seen the film, you know exactly what we're talking about. The little special gremlin.
Yeah,
He's a little special.
and also
But
like Gizmo's not like the other. He's like the most innocent of them all.
right, right. Um, there's so many theories. There's so many theories you can think about. Because
Oh
like I
yeah,
always
oh yeah,
thought,
yeah.
I always thought when he got hit by water, I always thought because there always seemed to be when they multiply from Gizmo. I always thought they were like certain types of personalities,
Yes, I can agree on
like
that one.
part of his personality, like the good, the evil, whatever.
Right,
It's just a fun little theory I thought of.
right.
Uh,
No, that's a good point
and
right
and that
there.
when Mogwais multiply, part of who they are, kind of gets diminished into another gremlin. Like they lose a part of who they are, or
Yeah,
a piece of their personality. If that makes sense.
right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking way too deep. This is
You're
what we do. We
deep.
think way too deep into things
That's
that
like
maybe true.
that's like how similar with how like so many fan theories about like how the second film spoofed the "Don't feed him after midnight." But wait, what does that mean? Like, what's the time limit? Like, what
Right, right, and I love that
7 or 8 o'clock
conversation.
in the morning?
It's like a conversation that you and I would have. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Or what if they're on an
um,
airplane? Like,
yeah, we all have a little bit of clerks in us. We all have that
right,
conversation of like people on the Death Star. Do they have contractors?
right. Or how do they go to the bathroom in there? They take a shower. How
Right,
does
right, right. The
Darth
stormtroopers go to
Vader?
rent the stormtroopers go to the bathroom. How do they go to the bathroom?
Right.
Can they
Or how
see
does
out
Darth
of
Vader
that
clean himself?
hat? Out of the helmet is that the reason why they can't shoot? All
Right.
these things, all these things.
Right.
But with
Right. And
that said,
also with besides referencing It's a Wonderful Life, there's also some like Invasion of the Body Snatchers a little bit, like how they
right,
kind of
right.
go
There's
from
obviously
to evil.
some nods to like things like the Blob and
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, good point there because well, Joe Dante's the kind of guy who grew up in around that time in the '50s of watching all these '50s sci-fi films, paying tribute
right,
to them.
right, exactly.
Yeah, like what's his name as a cameo? Kenneth Toby from the original Thing from Another World as a cameo in this movie.
Right, right.
Right.
Yeah.
If you pay close attention, Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet is a cameo in the first Gremlins movie.
And
And
also Dick Miller's part because of Roger Corman got Joe Dante's career started.
right. Also, I have to touch upon the second movie, and just a fun little Easter. I don't know if it was a nod to the monsters or whatever. The
Yes.
Dracula
Oh, you're
character.
right. Yes, I agree. I agree.
There was a Dracula character that.
Well, Grandpa Munster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was a Dracula character in the Gremlins film that I swear was a nod to Al Lewis.
No, I agree because when I first saw that, at first I'm thinking, there's Al Lewis, but then I'm like, oh, it wasn't Al. I don't know why. It
But
looked just like him, but it wasn't.
it was the same type of character.
Yeah,
Even like the cadence of how he spoke, kind of friendly. It was obviously a nod to the Munsters, obviously,
yeah.
or at least to
Also,
Grandpa Munster, which
well, also,
I think he was actually putting on during that time. I think the '90s. Didn't he have a horror show?
yes, he did.
Never
From what
mind.
I learned
Yeah.
from James Rolfe, he had a horror show, Grandpa Presents, where they would show like classic horror movies or B
Right.
movies. Yeah, that was the
Right.
whole point.
Right.
I like the part when he's talking to Billy, and Billy suggests that you should show some of the old classic Universal monsters, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and this line that he says next aged very well. The modern generation don't appreciate the old classic black and white movies. How true that is in modern day society about black and white movies.
Right, and of course, I love the fourth wall breaks of them constantly referencing Gremlins 2 in the movie.
Yeah.
They, they,
Yes.
I love the scene where the patrons, the mom comes out of the theater and goes, "That new Gremlins was terrible."
Right.
And
And also, Leonard Maltin has a can because I guess he didn't like the first Gremlin film. Then they spoof like what his
yeah, they spoofed
reaction
the
to being
critic.
struck by
Um,
Gremlin.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and like I said, the second movie's a lot of fun, and the first movie was a lot of fun too.
I guess I don't know what exactly Leonard Maltin's quote was about the first Gremlin film, but I guess he said he'd rather have root
He
canal.
said
I'd rather
like
watch
something to the effect of like, why would anybody watch this?
right.
Something to that effect.
He said he'd rather have root. I'd rather watch Gremlins than have root canal.
Right,
Yeah,
something like that.
something like that. We don't know the exact quote, but you get the idea. And also, let's see. Actually, I didn't realize this either. Too that they got. Did you ever see 16 Candles?
Yes, I know who you're talking about. The
guy who
Asian
played.
I forget his name.
Yeah, the guy who played Long Duck Dong was in this movie. He was the
Right, he's the
cameraman.
cameraman in the second Gremlins movie. Which
Yeah.
I was like, oh
Right.
yeah, I know him. He's awesome.
I didn't.
He was in
When I first saw
UHF,
it,
and he was in UHF too. He was the.
I
he
didn't
was,
see that. I go right. Stupid! You're
yeah,
so stupid.
yeah, it was
Yes.
him. Yeah. Oh, he's awesome. I love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the cast of don't sell the second movie short. Second movie's just as good as the first one.
It is.
It's just a different tone, It's
yeah.
slightly more goofy, and
Right. It's like Evil Dead 2 with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's not supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be
it's totally goofy. The element of like straight horror is kind of gone.
Yeah.
It's a little sci-fi-ish, and it's still kind of messy in terms of the Gremlins' deaths, but it's still fun.
It's the kind of film that if you love movies, pop culture, this is definitely a film for you where they
right.
where they shove it all in and just have a blast and a party to make fun of it and
right. It's definitely a blast of movies, and the first one first one's a classic, but I think the second one needs to be right up there. I think the second one.
Oh yeah.
Bad
But both good movies in their own ways. The first film is straight up horror, then the second film is just goofy comedy, over
the top madness, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. I was glad to rewatch it for this podcast.
And for me, the second movie this was the first time I've seen it.
Wow.
Second movie.
Wow.
I've never seen the second movie.
Right.
And people always said, well, the second movie's not that good, and blah, blah, blah. And I saw it, and I was like, this is awesome. What are you talking about?
Right.
Never trust the critics.
True. To some degree, depends.
Yeah, it depends,
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own taste.
True. Because I remember when I first saw it, I didn't know about its reputation until after seeing the film, thinking this is actually pretty fun. And then I'm like, wait a minute, how did this get a bad rep? I'm like, this was pretty cool.
Right. And I think it was just critics being snobby.
Yeah, true.
It's Gremlins. And considering the fact that Gremlins kind of launched what I like to refer to as Gremlins exploitation, where you have critters, you have
Yeah,
it blew up. Gremlins blew up in terms of the popularity. So
yeah,
it might
definitely.
have just been by 1990. What is 1990?
1990, the
The
second one
second
came
one,
out.
it might have just been exhausted by the critics. I don't know.
I don't know either. It's
Oh
like,
knows?
yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
that's
Another thing I like about Gremlins 2 is how they spoof and parody popular movies. Like, for example, they spoof the famous unmasking scene, the original 1925 Lon Chaney Sr.'s Phantom of the Opera. They also spoof Marathon Man when the Nazi tries to take out Dustin Hoffman's teeth.
But with that said, you want to move on to Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I guess we've covered just about everything with
The Buster
Gremlins
makes
1
me
and
feel
2.
good.
It's
I almost was gonna wear my I had a Peter Venkman shirt. I almost was gonna wear
right. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a Ghostbusters or Gremlins shirt, so sorry, guys. I gotta improvise and do the best I can.
It's okay.
Right now, we're on to Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Remember, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Sorry, I just had to say that.
Yeah,
For
the
the moment.
Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I mean, there's not really much you could really say about the first movie that hasn't already been said. Who has not? Ghostbusters is like Star Wars. And
Right.
I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it. And I'm
Right.
pretty sure everybody's seen the second movie as well.
Right.
But Ghostbusters,
Classic.
Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray,
Ernie Hudson.
Rick Moranis,
Yes.
Ernie
Sigourney
Hudson. I
Weaver.
heard you. Yeah, Ernie Hudson. I mean, you have the entire basically the entire cast of the original SNL.
Yeah.
It's a fun ghost movie where everyday guys become Ghostbusters. Who doesn't
Right.
love ghosts?
Right.
And
They have an interest in like the supernatural and the paranormal, but done like the comedy side.
and yeah, and Egon will be missed.
Yeah, no,
He was actually one of my favorites. One of
really
my favorite
interesting.
Ghostbusters was Egon. I always liked Ernie Hudson too.
Me too.
And Peter Venkman, Bill Murray.
With- Well,
He's
it's funny.
good for a laugh.
Like rewatching this, I'm like so like laughing at like Bill Murray's like sarcasm as Venkman and stuff.
Right. I still quote it to this day. I still say the line of you must have a terrific singing voice. I
Right.
still do that.
Have you tried it on girls to get a girl?
No, but I have a friend that does the there is no Dana, only Zool. So I go, oh, you must have a terrific singing voice.
Right. Well, part I always quote sometimes, like if I ran into someone who was like a jerk and an asshole, it's like, yes, it's true, officer. This man has no dick.
I don't think. Yeah, it's
Greatest
definitely-
comeback and insult.
Yep, and of course, okay, who brought the dog?
Right.
Hey, with Rick Moranis and Zool.
I always feel bad. I always feel bad for like Rick Moranis' character, how, like when he's being chased
Right,
by
in the
the
first
ghost.
movie,
And
yeah, he
the second,
definitely
first
did that
movie,
well.
like he's running away, and he's like knocking on the door at a restaurant. Nobody lets him in. It's like, dude, let the guy in. He's being chased by some like what if this happened in real life? I mean, come on, save the person's life. Don't be
Well, they also show that like and to them in the outside, like they can't see the dog, so they just see this guy
right,
up against the window,
right.
that's screaming for help. But still, but movie magics, let movies be movies.
Right. I don't know if you know this. That was originally written for John Candy, but he turned it down. Because
He could have done a good job on
He
that.
could have.
but
I think it works well with Rick Moranis, though.
yeah, Rick Moranis nailed that part.
Oh, he did. No,
But,
he did.
but I would have loved to see John in there as well.
Yeah, actually, he was in. What's his name? Ray Park. Was it Roy Park? The guy who sang the song to the movie.
Oh, Ray Parker Jr.
Ray Parker Jr. He has a cameo in the music video. The joke was John Candy turned it down, but at least he had a cameo for who did not make the final cut.
All right,
Ghostbusters.
cool. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, Sigourney Weaver does a great job in this film, but she's like a straight character.
Sigourney Weaver is great, but I have
And she
not
was
seen
hot.
a movie of yeah, I have not seen a movie of hers that I didn't like. You know,
Right.
she always gives a very good performance.
Right.
Uh,
She gives a great performance no matter what she does. Gives it her all.
yeah,
The part
absolutely.
when Venkman picks her up on the date, but she's possessed. There's a little bit of an Exorcist spoof right there.
Right,
You know, like when she like
absolutely.
on the bed. And, yeah.
Right, right.
Right.
And of course we have to talk about the special effects.
Yes. Yes. They're great.
I mean, what can be said about practical effects that hasn't really already been said on this podcast?
Yeah.
The special effects are pretty amazing. The ghost effects, the librarian,
Yes.
Zool, Zool itself,
Ooh.
when Sigourney Weaver transforms and the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper get together.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's got great effects,
Are
like you
you,
said. Especially when Venkman are trying to save him. It's like he's like Dana, and she turned into a dog.
Yeah, and of course the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yes. I don't know
I
why.
mean, let's be real. He is the unofficial mascot
For Ghostbusters,
for
absolutely.
Ghostbusters.
Absolutely.
He was in the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, not the Ghostbusters, but the real Ghostbusters.
I get it. No, I've never seen the cartoon, but I'm familiar
It's
with it.
good. It's good, but not to. Yeah, that's good. If you ever want to check it out, check out the real Ghostbusters cartoon. That's awesome. Also, the Extreme Ghostbusters are pretty cool as well. But that
Right.
I'm getting off track. I'm getting into cartoons. Okay, so back to the movie.
Yes, back to the movie.
Back to your feature presentation, as they used to say.
Intermission.
I miss that very much. But yeah, you know, the effects of the first movie is great.
It is.
Yeah,
They still hold up so well. I love
absolutely.
the visual shots of like the villain Dozer. I think it was
Gozer.
Gozer. Like when she comes
Gozer.
out.
Gozer. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool shot. And but I don't know why. Even though I do like the film, but I don't find the villain that Again, don't hate me for saying that.
Hey, listen, everybody's got their own opinions. I personally think a lot of people, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. This might be a hot take. Get ready for some hot takes. It's nice and tasty. But you know, I think most people come to Ghostbusters for the Ghostbusters themselves.
That's true. No,
You know, a lot of people, you know, but maybe that's just me. I love the movie as a whole. You know,
Same.
I enjoy that movie.
I also like this. I like the song like after when when all the ghosts are like spraying out.
Song. Yeah.
Iconic song of it's Matt believe it's magic. I'm like, this is a pretty good song. I like to listen to it
Yeah,
every now and then.
believe it's magic. Yeah, the soundtrack. Besides the main theme, has got a great soundtrack, and I'm a music guy, so
Right, exactly. Right up your alley.
Mood for sure. And with that said, is there anything you want to talk about the first movie, or can we go on to the second?
Let me see my notes. Like I said, Gozer, like the look of the villain's pretty cool, but I just don't find her that interesting.
Right, exactly, and you know, everyone's
We
entitled.
talked about Rick Moranis. We talked about Rick Moranis, a little bit on Sigourney Weaver, and oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Again, Ernie Hudson, great in this film, but he doesn't show up until like 40 minutes into the film, and also. I read they originally wanted Eddie Murphy to play this character, but he was too busy at the time filming Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, and I can't really see Eddie being as humble as
right, because Ernie Hudson was like one of the serious ones, and also they wanted.
I can't really see Eddie Murphy not being Eddie Murphy and being kind of goofy, and Ernie Hudson was just a great straight man.
Yeah, exactly. They also wanted I could have seen maybe work. Y'all had Kato from Alien, but he had to drop out due to commitments. That could have maybe worked.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like we didn't talk upon like Harold Ramis's character Egon. He's like so like smart, intelligent. It's like
you
really want a translator, someone to like say in lamest terms of the way he speaks.
Right, and Harold Ramis just delivers those lines.
He does.
So good, and there really isn't anybody that should be, that would be able to play him.
Right.
I
Well, Harold Ramis was a talented guy for comedy. Like, he did. Let's see. Wait, I'm trying to think.
Stripes,
Stripes, which I've heard of. I have not seen. I heard that's supposed to be good.
great movie. Yeah,
Yeah, and he did the vacation. Yeah, he did the first vacation film. That's a good movie.
Yep.
Groundhog Day. Analyze this. Yeah, he had a lot of great films under his belt that he directed. Like I said, it just shows he was a talented guy for comedy.
absolutely.
Yeah. Also, what do you think of Dan Aykroyd's character?
I love Dan Aykroyd's character. He's great. He does what he does best, and he's great at explaining things, and
Yeah.
also being kind of goofy.
Oh yeah, he likes marshmallows. That's why Marshmallow Man.
Ray, yeah. What did you do, Ray? I'm trying to think of the most finished thing.
Well,
Oh man. Okay.
yeah, this is like we're nerding out about how great Ghostbusters is.
Oh
and,
yeah.
like,
This is we're going full nerd on this. We're doing
Yeah.
quotes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It's another film. If you never saw the film, people just know the quotes from spoof
Right.
parodies.
It's
or
like
people
Star
singing it.
Wars. Everybody's
Yeah.
seen
Yeah.
Star Wars.
But I think what's funny with me with Ghostbusters, I did see parts of it as a kid, but I didn't see the whole thing until I was 19 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I saw it as a kid, like everybody else.
Right. But like I said, I was freaked out by that scene when Rick Moranis is running away from the monster.
Yeah, for me as a kid, the library ghost freaked me out.
Right. I can see why that is. Yeah, definitely. And it's funny how, like, when Venkman asks Sigourney Weaver out at the Metropolitan House, I'm thinking, I've been there so many times. How did I not think it twice that this is where they shot Ghostbusters?
Right, exactly.
Right. You've been to New York so many times, but it's especially how New York's a big destination for shooting movies.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, is there any?
All right.
Is there
Now,
anything?
I think that's we covered everything for Ghosts, the first one. Now on to the second Ghostbusters movie.
Now on to round two.
Yes.
So Ghostbusters 2. I mean, Ghostbusters 2, I really like the I mean, people kind of poke fun at the villain in Ghostbusters 2.
Right.
And I really kind of liked him for some reason, the painting ghost, I forget his name.
Wait.
Something with a V, Vigo? Was it Vigo?
Vigo. I think it was Vigo. Something. Oh wait, yeah, Vigo. You're right.
Yeah.
Vigo.
But yeah, Vigo. I liked Vigo.
Yeah, a little bit.
As I'm editing this video, I found out the villain Vigo was played by Max von Sydow. Mind-blowing. Very believable and convincing makeup.
With the River of Slime, but I think the magic is still there.
Yeah.
And I think it's underrated. I really think it's, I like Ghostbusters 2 a lot.
Same.
A lot of the cool special effects are there. I love the court ghosts.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I love the concept of the slime being like rage activated.
Yeah.
There were a lot of really cool just stuff that the second one had that, I think a lot of people put it down because it's like no one can recapture the magic, but the second one comes close.
Right.
For sure.
No, I agree. I think Ghostbusters 2, it's not great or perfect, but it's not that bad.
No, it's not perfect, but that film is.
It was fun.
Yeah, I think it's it's
fun.
It's definitely the perfect kind of it's funny that we're doing Gremlins and Ghostbusters because both their sequels are I think very underrated.
Absolutely.
They're still fun. They still have that magic.
Yeah, definitely.
And, yeah.
Yeah, it had some like moments that I liked that were funny, like when they were in the sewer, they were being tricked thinking that a real train was coming after them. He goes, "Did you get that license plate number or something?" He goes, "I didn't notice."
Right, the ghost train. I liked the whole thing. They were dressed up as construction workers to kind of investigate the River of Slimer.
I also like the
Slime, not Slimer.
I also like the Titanic like ghost. I'm like, that's
Right. I was gonna bring up the Titanic.
Yeah.
Titanic ghost. Yeah, there's a lot of really fun just moments in the second one,
It does.
and
Also,
I kind of like the dynamic of Peter Venkman, Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver,
yes.
kind of being parents is really kind
Well,
of
actually, well, that's I don't know why. When I first saw it, I thought that was his child, but no. She basically they broke up. She married. The husband left her.
right, but he's basically a surrogate.
Exactly. But yeah, basically Bankman was basically being the father figure to Oscar, her son.
Right, and
Yeah.
that was cool. I thought that
Right.
was really cool.
Also, Rick Moranis' character, he's still the same like as his first, but
Yeah, but he gets a little redeemed.
girlfriend.
And yeah, he gets a girlfriend, and
Yes.
towards the end of the film, he basically becomes an honorary Ghostbuster.
Yeah, he does. No, I'm like, all right, good for this guy, because after the last film, he was possessed, and now he's like all brave and.
Right, and it's like that's actually one of my favorite parts of the film because I've always liked the character that Rick plays, and he plays it with such genuine and such sympathy that
Yeah,
yeah,
but in a way, when I was watching the part when they're babysitting Oscar, like he's watching a movie, they're making out with his date girlfriend. I'm thinking this could be a little bit of a homage of like slasher film, but this is more, but not slasher.
a little bit,
But not too over the top though. But that's the
but
parody.
has always kind of been entrenched in the horror and sci-fi.
Yeah,
all that stuff, all that good stuff.
yeah. Like I said, the villain Vigo was a slight improvement, a little bit more interesting than Gozer was in the last one. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't, I always hear that. One thing I always hear about Ghostbusters 2 is the villain wasn't as good, and it just wasn't as good. But no film is perfect, and I think it's definitely a perfect set of movies,
Right.
in my view, but that's just me.
Right.
I just want to touch upon. I know we're not going into trilogy. I know it's not technically a trilogy, but I have to touch upon what I like to consider the unnamed sequel, the Ghostbusters 3 we never got, the Ghostbusters video game. I think it's just called the Ghostbusters video game, but the plot of that video game is you play as a new Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and it's really the last time that we have all of the original Ghostbusters actors in the game, so that kind of works as sort of a Ghostbusters 3. But I figured that's an honorable mention.
Yeah. I haven't played that. Well, I haven't played that, but I might check it out on YouTube to like see why fans consider the video game the definitive like Ghostbusters 3 that we never got.
Yeah, I gotta check it out too.
Yeah.
And I mean, we could talk about the recent ones, but I just figured I'd mention the.
Yeah, I'll admit I haven't seen 2016 or the newest ones that came out. It's like
I've seen one of the new. I think I've seen Afterlife, but that was good.
right.
That's really all I have to say about that.
Right. I feel like sometimes like we all hit a certain point with franchises, and it's like how much more can we
It's
just know?
franchise fatigue. I think every fan kind of goes through that where they're like, okay,
Yeah, and
that's
I remember
enough.
James Rolfe did a video about what the original possibilities of an idea of a Ghostbusters 3 that may or may not have happened, and from like
And they had the script. They had it.
I don't know. It sounded like it was either I don't know. Maybe Dan Aykroyd was just making it up to shut people up. Maybe that's just the way I see it. But
Who knows?
I know who knows, right? And I read that one possibility they wanted Ben Stiller as like a new Ghostbuster. I'm like, I could have seen that him like as a Ghostbuster.
Yeah, that could have worked.
It could have, or how Sigourney Weaver said she wanted like Oscar to grow up to be a Ghostbuster. I'm like, okay, that could have maybe worked.
Yeah,
too.
I would have liked to see Rick Moranis' character maybe be the new Ghostbuster, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the third possibility could have been if they had made.
So many
possibilities. So, what's that?
I said so many possibilities, so little time.
Yeah, and they also wanted, like, in the mid 2000s, they wanted Seth Rogen, but I don't see him as a Ghostbuster.
I don't. Yeah, that's pushing it.
Yeah, that's put, well,
That's
especially that
pushing it.
time in the
That would
2000s.
make Ghostbusters into like a stoner comedy.
Yes.
Could never take
No, I
could
couldn't see
never
that
take Seth
seriously.
Rogen seriously as a Ghostbuster.
Right, no, me
I'm a
neither.
Ghostbuster.
And at that time, that's what he was known for, playing potheads in the 2000s of
Right,
comedy.
and it's a character that he plays pretty well, but and Seth Rogen, no, I'm sorry.
No. And they also wanted to kill off Venkman as a ghost, which, again, that could have gone either way sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could have gone either way. Like, but from what I
yeah.
also read, that was a false rumor, and then Bill Murray said he never got a script to that. And again, it's just fake
Yeah.
rumors to get people
I
excited.
mean, the
As,
one thing I can say is at least Afterlife gave Egon a nice send off.
right.
But that's
Right.
that's all we can say. But anyway,
Also,
we'll get back to 2. Sorry, we went on to
yeah,
Rambling Boulevard,
and
but
that's good.
that's
Also,
what happened.
Zombieland kind of spoofed a little bit of Ghostbusters with Bill Murray's cameo to a degree.
Absolutely, him being zombie, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, that was the idea. And of course, Harold Ramis' death in 2014. That's another reason why.
Yeah, and that was a hard hit for me because it was like,
yeah,
man,
it was.
Yeah, rest in peace, Egon.
Yeah, rest in peace, Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis, rest in peace.
Yeah.
But with that said, is there anything you want to talk about that we haven't talked about Ghostbusters 2?
Let's see. Trying to think. I don't know. I think. Let's see. I guess here not. This is. I guess this is just a rambling talk right here. How like after the first Ghostbusters movie, we see how like the Ghostbusters. I guess they went out of business and drifted apart. And they went their own ways. How like Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson's character. I guess they were trying to like. I guess they did like some sort of charity getting paid to do post children's party, but then some kids insult them and
Right.
also, Venkman had his own talk.
Up at the beginning of the film.
Yeah,
Venkman
Venkman had his own talk show, and I thought it was funny how he has his Kevin Dunn's character, like when the war, or he thinks the war will end, or how the second psychic Elaine said the war will end on February 14, 2016. The funny part is that was the year the 2016 Ghostbusters came out with the female cast. I know, a little that's a little nerdy right here. A little Easter egg.
Now, everyone, put on your football hats with me, and just let that digest. We won't say anything about.
No, me
just
neither.
let that marinate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But just something for the fans to chew on.
Oh yeah. Also, Peter McCall's character as Dr. Jaunes, if I'm saying it right.
Is it French?
The one. I don't know. The one who Vigo possessed.
Right. The French guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the French guy. Yes. Well, what did you think of his character?
I thought he was fun.
Yeah.
He reminded me, being a Dracula fan, he reminded me a lot of like a Renfield.
That's a good point there. I didn't see it. That's a good point. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, definitely like a Renfield. Especially he played Renfield in the spoof Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Talk about typecasting.
Yeah, really. Well, also he was in the film with Meryl Streep. What's that film that he did with Meryl Streep? Wait.
Let's look into his database.
Yes. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, thank you for being so patient while my co-host here looks up the information because, thank God for Google. Otherwise, he'd be shuffling papers.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the name?
Yes. I know it came out in the 80s, early 80s. It was called Sophia's Choice. That's the movie.
Sophie's Choice, yeah.
Yes.
when he kidnaps the baby Oscar. It's like a Wizard of Oz moment.
Yep.
So that's the film.
Yeah. You know.
But no, good point.
Yeah,
It was like a Renfield type character.
Yeah. Second movie's I think just as good as the first.
Yeah, it's fun and decent. It's solid. It's a cool movie.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you want to touch on about it?
As I'm editing this video, here's something I forgot to mention. The movie Scrooge, a parody of A Christmas Carol, Bill Murray, feels like a Ghostbusters movie where the joke is that Bill Murray's outnumbered by 3-1 against the ghost.
No, not that else I could think of. That I think we've summarized everything of all the movies.
All right, you want to call it?
What's that?
I said you want to call it. You want to end it here?
Yeah, I guess we'll end it right here. Yeah. So,
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I'm Wolfman Sam here with my co-host Johnny Buff Guns, and we are Creatures of the
Creatures
Night.
of the Night. See you next
See you
time.
all next
Remember,
time.
call Ghostbusters if there's anything wrong, and also remember, if you get a Mogwog for a gift, don't feed them after midnight.
Don't feed them after midnight, and always remember who you're gonna call.